After releasing my video of Finals with Froggy, I never really thought about coming back to the game. Until I saw the recognition it got, and that completely changed my mind. And that's why we're going to be covering the second game, which has a lot more into it than the first game. More lore, more mini-games, and a few Easter eggs, and 6 endings. But we're not getting those endings. We're just going to stick to the canon endings for now. But yeah, strap in, because this is going to be a long one. First off, let me just start with this menu. This menu is actually amazing. It kind of gives me a little bit of FNAF 4 vibes, and that's why I like it. But enough about the menu. Let's jump into the game. The game opens up showing us a few newspapers about a tragedy that happened. Now, those newspapers aren't really important. The third one is actually interesting, because what it shows us is that a new kingdom has opened up with a lot more to it, and more toys. But of course, it needs a night guard, and that's why we're here.
Hello, Bertie. Is that you? Wasn't the director supposed to tell you I was going to call? Well, I'm his deputy. The deputy Osipo. I'm calling to instruct you. Alright, here we go. You're a security guard now. Keep the place safe. Don't let anybody in. Keep the strangers out. And you'll get a guaranteed paycheck. Sounds easy. But you'll still have to prove yourself. Because, well, the cameras don't record for some reason. So you have to be prepared for the unexpected. and you will have to notify the police right away about the intruders. We tried everything, but the recording error still occurs. Anyway, there are motion sensors in the vent, and on the computer as well. So you will immediately get a warning if there's something moving or going on in there. Actually, I don't think anybody needs to go through those dusty tunnels, but it's a royal theater, so you have to be vigilant. Could you tell me more about yourself? Alright. I get that you don't want to tell me. Okay, look. They haven't changed anything after the renovation, so just be careful with the equipment. Cause it seems like it's from 2003, I think. They don't even have cameras all over the building yet. But those are good enough for now. Also, the power generator in your room is old, so the plugs might pop due to an electronic failure. Oh, and you better don't use two computers at once. Just use one instead. And it's better to use the newer one. It's in the room with lots of screens. That's where you should go. Don't leave the lights on when you're not there. If the power suddenly goes out, you won't be able to work. You just keep an eye on the power. Again, the light from the lamp on the desk is not likely to be of any use to you, since you'll be spending most of your time in the review room anyway. Well, go ahead and start working.
Now, before I actually start talking about the mechanics, I just want to point out that we don't get any information about the character we're playing as. It just throws us into the game.
But let's not worry about that. Let's learn about the game mechanics.
Starting off with the cameras, now you already know your cameras are your typical FNAF thing. But here's the thing. There are 32 cameras. But if I'm being honest, you won't really be needing all 32 of these cameras because they won't really be important. What is important is the ventilation, because this is how we actually see the toys move, which is going to become very important in the later nights. Yep, that is all the mechanic. Oh shit, the power went out. Let's go fix it. As you can clearly see, we have another mechanic, and that's the power. Now, you already know, if there's too many stuff on, the power will basically go off. But it's not really that bad, because, all we have to do is turn off all the lights to keep one computer on, so, yeah. But yeah, we beat the night, and those are all the mechanics. Well, for now at least.
Who's there? Alright, I'm coming out now to deal with you, hooligan.
As you just saw in that very, very questionable cutscene, we knocked on this random guy's door with him, sounding like he's in there straight up dying. But when he finally answers the door, he just looks at us, just staring. And then he goes back into his room with the final message saying, is he scared of me or something? A little odd, but it shouldn't really be a problem. So after that questionable cutscene, we get points to our first minigame. We play as the chef servant. In this minigame, we must find our office. So after we get to the office, we get another cutscene. and it shows. Wait, are those the toys from the first game? And they're coming back for me? What did I do? Okay. Let's not panic. Surely they're not actually coming back for me. I mean, what could I have possibly done for them to do that?
Hello? Burton? Oh, well, hello again. Nice of you to stay.
Okay, cut. See, I was originally gonna let this whole thing play out, but this guy talks way too long. So instead of letting the whole thing play out, I'm just gonna give you a quick recap of what he's basically talking about. Okay, starting on the first part, apparently there's this weird myth going around the kingdom basically saying that the toys are moving, doing weird stuff, and they supposedly killed someone, which they didn't do. They didn't kill anyone. Anyway, and apparently some dude left a paper on the floor, and they kind of gave this whole thing a name called Fairy Tales Become Horror. Now on to the second part of this entire phone call. The phone guy basically tells us about the photographer. He's basically an alcoholic, and apparently this guy has been living in this kingdom for his entire goddamn life. Or at least he thought so. You see, when this whole place was restored, they found him still here, and he refused to leave, and he said he wanted to continue to live here, which is crazy. I mean, bro, you gotta move. Like, you've been in here your whole life. And finally, the last part of this entire phone call. The phone guy tells us that they brought some new toys in here to continue our suffering, and which one of those toys being the kitty. This kitty will basically be going through our vents in the second part of the office, and if we hear anything trying to break through that vent, we have to screw the screws in so he doesn't get in. I really just said the same word in one sentence. We have to screw the screws in so he doesn't get in. Like, I really just said the same word. Not only is the kitty gonna be going through the vents, there's also another toy that'll be going through the vents, that being Coco. I think that's how you say his name. Anyway, basically, if these two are breaking the vent at the same time, it could go a little faster. And around at 2 a.m. in this night, the plush froggy will be moving a lot faster now. But I mean, he's not really an issue. Probably the easiest toy to deal with in this night, but let's not worry about that. But just like night one, this night was pretty easy. We'll be going on to the next night. But before we go on to the next night, we get another cutscene where we cut back to the philosopher's room, but he's actually not here, and apparently we're trying to break in by pick-locking the door, in which it puts us in a small little minigame where we have to try to pick-lock and open the door. This minigame definitely did not take me hours to complete, but we finally get the door open, and this is what we're greeted by. Once we get the door open, we're greeted by a cannon that shoots out bottles. And we have to juggle these bottles, and if we drop too many of these, the philosopher will catch us. But I'm not sure why you even have this in your room. Is this some kind of defense mechanism or something? I don't know. And as you can see, I couldn't juggle these bottles for too long because my hands were getting tired, and we get caught.
Who's walking around and doesn't let me sleep? How dare you disturb my dream? Get out!
After that stupid disaster, we get cut to another cutscene where it shows us a pretty insane tragedy. After that pretty insane cutscene, the game shows us another cutscene in which it cuts back to the old toys in their adventure to come execute me. After that cutscene, we finally get put into the next night, in which the phone guy kinda does what he did in the last night, where he talks for way too long. So you already know what time it is. Let's just speed this up a bit. The phone guy kinda tells us a tragic story about how the old palace was, in which one of the Froggold's daughters went missing, and multiple investigations were started, but they never found her. And then the chef's servant was found dead in his house. Now you might be wondering, how did she go missing? Well, that's the thing. We don't know. The family wanted to just go outside and take a walk, and then their daughter just magically just disappeared and went missing. But let's cut back to the multiple investigation stuff. When the investigations all started, one of the investigators went missing. Like what is happening? Who is kidnapping these people? And then the phone guy basically just starts yapping about his own theories, which we do not care, so we're just gonna skip over that. Now, after the phone call ended, we get introduced to a new mechanic in this night, in which seems very familiar. Yep, the music box. Now, I know what you're thinking. Don't we have to keep this winding up through the whole night like in the first game? Well, no, actually. It works a little different in this game. You see, if we ever hear the gnomes singing, we have to wind this up fast. Because if we don't, they will barge into our room, and you know what happens next. So we gotta keep track on this. Not only do we have the music box back here, we also have some other familiar toys coming back. That being the one and only Froggy. And the other cat, and the crocodile too. They might be wondering, what are these guys' mechanics? Well, they're literally the same thing in the first game. For the Froggy, we have to turn off the light if he comes in a room. The other cat, we have to turn on the light when he's in a room. And same with the crocodile, which we have to turn on our light. Pretty simple, but just know, the only reason these guys are here is to make our life harder. Now, if I'm being honest, these guys kind of made the night a little bit more challenging due to them coming in the office very, very fast. But that doesn't really matter. This night was actually pretty easy.
Duty, what the heck is this? Isn't this supposed to be a horror game?
Listen. I know, but let's just skip over this, okay?
It's such a downpour today. Will they be surprised to see huge puddles in the morning? I think it's going to rain all night. Oh, not a big deal. Didn't really need it there anyway. We haven't changed the bulbs in most of the rooms yet. We'll change them sometime later. Did you know that the characters in the play, Froggy and Friends, are based on, those old...
Don't know what that was. Anyway, the phone guy starts to talk about Froggold First's favorite toys until he passed away. And then Froggold the Second ended up getting a heart disorder, which he honestly did not care about, and he continued to do most of his work. But enough about this phone call. Let's get into the actual night, in which we get introduced to a lot of new toys. Starting off with Draco. This toy will basically be dashing straight to our door like Foxy. If we ever hear a loud vibrating sound, it means he's gonna bust right through our door, and we have to hold it shut so he doesn't do that. Going on to the second toy of this night, the Mighty Dragon. I'm not sure why they call him the Mighty Dragon, but whatever. So what this guy will basically do, if you see him on top of your screen in each of the rooms, get ready for the most annoying experience of your life, because this dude will literally just shake in your face. That is all he does. He doesn't kill you, he doesn't stop you from doing anything, he just shakes in your face. And it is hell annoying, especially with a person like me. I have very bad vision, so when this dude is in my face, I can barely see shit. And for the third toy of this night, we have Chirp. How the fuck you say this guy's name?
Chebarashka.
Oh, that's how you say it. Yeah, anyways, Chebarashka. Now, what this toy will do is he will go through the vents as well, meaning we have 3 toys in total that will be going through the vents. And like I said before, if there's multiple toys coming in the vent at the same time, it could go really fast, making it our top priority in this night sometimes. And yeah, those are all the toys that we're going to be doing with in this night. Now, let me tell you, this night was pretty challenging. And it was intense. Now, after we beat this night, we get another cutscene where it shows the phone guy walking through a hallway until he stumbles upon us just in our office looking at a photo.
Hello. I was checking a photo, and I would like to compare you with it.
I'm doubt I'm the one you need. Anyway, you should leave the office soon. How do you even get?
But wait a second. I think I'm forgetting about someone in this night. I could have sworn I listed them all, right? Oh wait. Is that? And finally, Friday, the last night of this game. Now, you see, we get a phone call from the phone guy, but this phone call is actually a little different. You see, he reveals something about the main character we're playing as, Burton. We find out that Burton helped blow this palace up years ago. Yeah, he helped blow up this palace years ago. And apparently in the first game, he was one of the vandals, which is just insane. Now, here's the thing. We have 2 options. We can either 1, deny that we didn't do it and lie, or we could just confess and say that we did do it and we don't care.
Not care.
Now, obviously, I chose to deny this because, for one, I didn't even know that Burton was the one that did it, and I wasn't even sure if it was true or not, so I just denied it. But the phone guy tells us that after we complete this night, the cops are on their way, which means we're gonna get arrested right after we're done. Now, you might be wondering, is there any new characters that we're gonna have to deal with on this night? Well, yeah, actually. The chef servant. Yeah, the chef servant who died in the first game is back and is here to haunt us. Now, you might be wondering, what does he do? Well, he shuts off our power. I'm not joking, that is really what he does. But he doesn't do it immediately. He actually gives us a little bit of time before he does it. And we need to use this time likely to get done with the other toys. Now, there isn't actually another character we're gonna deal with in this night. It's actually a fucking alarm. Yeah, an alarm. In which we have 1 minute to turn this off. And if we don't turn it off in time, we could lose to this. And after we beat this night, we get another mini game where we play as Froggoat's daughter, in which we're outside. And we can navigate around through the entire palace. But when we do that, we stumble upon none other than Froggy. And let me just show you what happens. After that cutscene, we beat the game, finally concluding the end to Five Nights with Froggies. I'm gonna leave now.